Polly Conner.
And I'm Rachel Tiemeyer.
And we are Team Thriving Home, and we are working through prep session 13. My guess is that's why you're here. So this prep session is all about the slow cooker and Instant Pot. Every recipe can be made in either one.
Yep, and so here's what we're going to be making. We're going to start with our Greek pitas with pulled pork. These are delicious, and they're great for adult eaters who like all these amazing toppings that go with it. Or if you have kids who are picky, that's great too. It doesn't matter. It's just warm pita with like this delicious shredded pork in it, and you put some cheese on it. They'll love it. The second recipe is our BBQ Chicken Sliders. This is such an easy meal. It's a great one if you're going to have a crowd over. So whether you want an easy weeknight meal or you want to serve a bigger group, this is a go-to. And then lastly, we have our shredded beef nachos. So I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I do love like ground beef nachos, but my family gets tired of that. Like we do that a lot on the night after we have tacos. Yeah. So this is a different spin. And I think your husband kind of
We call them Nachos in our house. I feel like he's kind of the inventor of those.
Nachos.
He just takes any shredded meat and just pours it on chips and cheese.
Like, oh, yeah. All right.
All right. Now, one key thing to make sure this stays under an hour. Actually, this prep session is pretty quick, so you won't have a problem with that. But it makes it go more smoothly if you lay everything out. As you can see, we got a lot of meat right here.
Yeah, we already opened the packages.
This is not a vegetarian prep session. So we got open your packages, get all your ingredients and equipment out. You can find those lists on page 3, I believe. Is it 3?
I think so.
Yeah, so you're in your packet and get everything out so that way it can go fast. So,
all right, let's get started.
Let's do it. All right, we're on step 1 of this prep session, and this is the easiest step because you've probably already cut your labels out. You're going to tape them to your freezer bags. It's much easier to do this before putting in the food than after. So you're going to tape them to the bags, and then you're going to, if you have baggie stands, you're going to use these. We will have a link to those in our show notes, and we have those in our Amazon store, all the things. So if you're serious about meal prepping, these are great to have.
If you don't have that, you can just use a kind of a deeper bowl. You just need some stability so you can stick your meat down in there with the marinade or the seasoning.
Also, one thing that Rachel didn't do yet is write on there any side dish ideas that you see in the prep session that you want to add. Again, easier to do that before you tape it on there.
Yep, and that's on the menu plan on page 2, I believe.
Yep. All right, so finish that up, then join us for step 2.
Now we're on step 2. This one's pretty easy. We're going to prep our produce, and pretty much all it is are 2 red onions. So grab your 2 red onions, and so Polly is cutting off cutting off the like stalk end. Sorry, I couldn't see which end. And now she's gonna cut through it in half through the root end, right? And so now you've got 2 halves, and you've got it peeled already, or if not, you want to peel off obviously the outer
You don't want to eat that.
And what you're gonna do here is create some thin half slices, and these are gonna go into our pulled pork pitas and into those bags. It just adds flavor, adds a little extra veggie. And they come out super soft. They almost like melt into that shredded pork in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot.
I love red onion.
Yeah. Do you like do they make you cry? Or are you
crying? We've shared this tip before. We have some tips on the tears if onions make you cry. 1, having contacts then helps. 2, chewing gum helps. Yeah. And then, did you have another one?
Wasn't it like throw it in, one of our readers told us, put your onions like in the freezer or the fridge for a few minutes before you slice, and that kind of helps mitigate it as well.
I haven't tried that one, but I do the gum one if I notice I'm starting to tear up. Yep. Sometimes they're stronger than others. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm sure it depends on the onion. Sorry to interrupt. One of the things you'll notice when Polly's cutting an onion, this is just a good tip, is first of all, we create a flat surface so that the onion's not sliding all over the place. And then when she goes through to slice it, she's keeping the tip of her knife on the cutting board, and that also creates some stability, and it helps with the even slicing along the way. Once I learned that tip of keeping the tip down, now that when I see people cut without it, I'm like, it's gonna move.
Where's your fingers?
Where was the finger? So, all right, I'm gonna finish slicing these, and why don't you do that as well, and then meet us back here. Oh,
yeah, I was just gonna tell one thing. If you didn't get pre-sliced garlic, pre-minced garlic, you will also mince your garlic in this step. We already bought pre-minced, so we'll meet you back here for the next step.
We are on step 3, which is we're going to prep the Greek pitas. All right, so first step we're going to do is we're going to put some chicken broth in these.
So what is it, 1 cup?
1 cup of chicken broth in each of the bags.
And this keeps the meat moist in the cooker, but also importantly, if you're going to cook in the Instant Pot, you always need, in a 6-quart, Instant Pot, you always need at least 1 cup of liquid. So this will provide that. If you have an 8-quart, you need 1.5 to 2 cups of liquid.
Yep.
And that helps it come to pressure. Otherwise, you're going to have problems.
All right, I got to get rid of these red onions. I have gum in my mouth, and it's
Go
still,
for it. Get rid of them.
You're about to see me cry on camera here. This is 2 red onions is a lot to.
So 1 red onion in each bag.
Yes.
I promise that flavor it'll just get sweet and tender, and they just bring a lot to it.
This is I've seen lots of names for it. Food mover, chef's hand. I use this thing all the time.
I do too.
I
love it.
It's great. It's for things like this when you're having to move a lot of fruits and veggies around, or it's good like when you're baking to clean up flour off your counter. Whoopsie.
Sorry, red onion.
A little messy, but it'll work. So I like using that. After that, we got some garlic going in.
There's supposed to be 1 in each bag. I messed you up. You know why? Because I switched them on you. I was trying to be helpful.
I was like,
and I was
no.
unhelpful.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, I'll just grab them. All right, real life here, peeps. I was trying to be helpful and then I confused you.
Funny.
That was my fault. All right, next up is your garlic. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon. So much flavor. Look, this has got to have some strong Greek flavoring going.
I love garlic.
Okay, so we got our garlic in there. Now we're going to move to the pantry seasonings.
Yep, Rachel's going to read them off for me.
So we got 2 teaspoons of dried oregano in each bag.
Right, don't switch them on us.
I'm not switching.
We can't undo seasoning.
No, we cannot. 2 teaspoons of cumin. And cumin adds like the smokiness. That's great. Is that a teaspoon or a half teaspoon?
This is a teaspoon.
Okay. And then, so 2 of those. 2 teaspoons of black pepper. So I tested this with half the seasoning, and then I was like, that needs more. So we doubled it, and it's going to be on point. It is on point. So 2 teaspoons of that in each one.
Got it.
And then 2 teaspoons of salt, which might sound like a lot, but this is a large amount of meat. And I just want to say that if you don't use all the meat, so you're going to create this tender, seasoned, shredded pork that'll go in these pitas, but if you don't use it all, that's okay. You can freeze the meat after it's been cooked for later. Okay, so you got your salt. Okay, now half teaspoon of red pepper flakes. This is going to add just a little bit of kick of heat in the background. It's not going to be overly spicy. Don't worry about that.
Don't get concerned. I'm just eyeballing half a teaspoon in that.
All right.
Okay.
How do your tongs work? Oh, you push the little button.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have boneless pork shoulder. Bone in would work. You need a little bit bigger one if you have a bone in there, obviously. I ordered these online, so this was just something we were like, oh, we should just tell people about this. Have you ever ordered online and the meat is like, it weighs less than you were hoping? So I bought 2 and they were just kind of small. So actually I'm going to get Polly the 2 small ones, and I went back and I bought another one that was the right size, and that'll be mine. That's a lot of pork.
And if you are going to make this for the Instant Pot, you actually would quarter
That
this.
is a great point.
Yep. So you would quarter the meat.
Thank you.
Right now before it goes into the bag if you're making it for the Instant Pot. Slow cooker, totally fine to put it in as a big old hunk like this. Get it?
So the other tip Polly and I were just talking about that might be a better idea than tongs, because they ended up having to use my hands anyway.
I know, I'm going to have to wash.
Is disposable gloves. So we grabbed those. We should have put those on.
I'll grab one.
Such a good idea.
So you could have put these on. These are a little bit big, but they're kind of basically just food gloves. Yeah. And so you could just use it then you could just throw the gloves away.
Okay, so I'm going to actually stick my hand in here because it has pork on it, which the opposite should be true. But so what you're going to do after you get the meat in there, hopefully you haven't touched the meat, otherwise you got to wash your hands, is now you've got all the seasoning and liquid. I want you to toss this around in there. I mean, be careful. Make sure it's sealed.
Make sure it's sealed.
Make sure it's sealed really well.
Trust your bag.
Yeah, but you really want to kind of try to get that seasoning all around the pork. It's not going to be perfect, but when you put it in your cooker, it'll really get mixed around too. Yep. Okay. So we're going to finish this up, stick these in, well actually, meet us back for the next step. We're going to create a meal kit for this. All right, we're on step 4, and now this is super easy, but we're just going to create our pita kits. Yep. So my store kind of ran out of different ones, so there's like several different kinds of pitas here, but these look really good and healthy actually. So we'll put our pita, actually put your meat in first.
So don't squish it.
Yeah, and lay it flat maybe, so this kit can lay flat. I guess you don't have to do it that way if you're worried about it leaking. And then your pita bread on top. And that's done. Yep. So we'll do one more of those, and we'll be done, and we're going to move on to step 5.
All right, we're on step 5. This one goes super quick. We make a whole meal in one step. Ready? So we're going to put half a cup of chicken broth in each of these bags. Nice thing is you're using the same quart that we had in a previous step. So we're using up ingredients, just kind of another way these save money as we try to use the similar ingredients if we can. Okay, then we're going to do a cup of salsa.
Yeah, so we're really seasoning these chuck roasts. I have to tell you, I love this salsa. I don't know if they carry this at your store, but it's called Mateos, or I don't know how you say it, but it's a roasted salsa. It's delicious.
And is it a medium or is it mild?
I would suggest a medium or hot because, believe it or not, even if your family's kind of like, oh, I don't like things too spicy, there's a lot of beef. Yeah. And it
spreads out, gets diluted.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we're going to do taco seasoning. 2 1-ounce taco seasoning packs or 6 tablespoons of homemade seasoning.
Yeah, so shortcut is just grab those packs at the store, but we also have a delicious homemade taco seasoning on Thriving Home. We link to it in the packet if you're looking at it on a screen, and I already made it. So I'm just going to eyeball this, but I'm going to do about half of this in each of these packets.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we're going to put the,
I might kind of squish that around before I get that meat in there just to make sure all that's...
Give it a little massage.
Give it a little massage. And then I am going to use... I learned on the last one. Yeah. Instead of using tongs, I'm going to go for these plastic gloves.
You know, these plastic gloves are just good to have on hand in a home when you have kids or animals.
Yes.
We have used those many times.
Let's link to those.
Yeah, we will. They're just, I'm pretty sure I got them on Amazon.
Everyone should own those.
They came in like mass quantity.
All right, get in there.
There we go.
All right, so look at that. I'll just pull these off and
easy peasy.
Boom.
All right, we're going to seal these up.
Told you that was easy. We're going to squish it around and move on to the next
If you were going to make it for the Instant Pot.
Good call.
You keep forgetting. Okay.
I do.
That's all right.
So if you're going to make it in the Instant Pot, you want to cut this into 2-inch by 2-inch pieces, roughly. So the pork you can just quarter it. I mean, that can be larger chunks, but this one you really want to get smaller to make sure it gets nice and tender in the Instant Pot. Good call, Polly.
Yep.
We are on step 6. We're going to create and freeze our beef nacho kits. So just take your pack of seasoned beef, set it in the bottom. We're just using these like plastic grocery sacks, or I think they sell like a 2.5 gallon Ziploc you could use if you wanted. And then 3 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. I already divided it between these 2 bags, and boom, you are done. All right, we are in the home stretch. It is step 7. We're gonna prep our barbecue chicken sliders, and this is super easy. We're gonna start with a seasoning blend. And so Polly's gonna put 1 teaspoon of onion powder in each bag. So the seasoning blend is very simple. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder in each bag.
These are like ingredients we have in all of our recipes.
Yeah, well, it's because they're in our pantry, and we want you guys to have them in your pantry too. Salt, 1 teaspoon of salt in each one, and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And each one's going to eyeball this one. Okay.
Half of that.
And then I found this recipe needed a little heat, but if you have a hot barbecue sauce, avoid this seasoning. We need just an 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne in each one. There you go. Just a little. Yeah. So now what we're going to do, I kind of figured this out so you guys didn't have to get more dishes dirty.
Yeah.
Is now you're going to shake your seasoning blend and get that all blended up. And then go ahead and put your chicken in your bags, okay? So this works, I promise. I tested this. So you're gonna put half the chicken in each bag. I'll just do it like this.
Yeah.
1 and 1, 2 and 2, like that. So the idea here is, remember like those shake and bake kits where you would like shake your chicken with
I used to think I was like making like a great meal when I would make those in college.
That's a place to start,
I'm
right?
really cooking. Is that 1 piece?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's 2.
There we go.
Okay.
There's 2. Yep. Okay, so now after you get your chicken in there and you hopefully haven't touched it, you have gloves on or use tongs, close it again. And here is where you've got to make sure you've closed it really well. But you're going to really give it a good toss and make sure that seasoning gets on every single piece of chicken. And it will it'll really stick to the chicken because the chicken's moist.
And even if it doesn't get everywhere, it's going to go in a slow cooker together too. Yeah. So any of that extra seasoning will find its way to a home.
Yeah. And really, I'm not even going to stick it in these clips because it's standing up. But last thing you're going to do now is put 1 cup of barbecue sauce in each of these. And again, remember, this can be cooked in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot. So Polly and I wrote a cookbook with all slow cooker and Instant Pot recipes called From Freezer to Cooker.
It's right behind us.
It's right behind us. Promo. And we learned a lot, didn't we? About cook times. What was one of the biggest surprises we had?
So I was notorious for overcooking chicken in the slow cooker, and we did a ton of research and testing, and we found that most recipes online have you overcooking your chicken. So we took the internal temperature with meat thermometers, and chicken only takes 2.5 to 3 hours to cook. Chauncey, sorry, I have to call my dogs.
Her dogs are being goofy. So if you don't have to use barbecue sauce out of the bottle.
I'm so sorry.
Pause. Real life.
Chauncey.
Real life.
Chauncey.
Hilarious. Okay, Polly not adopted, fostering 2 puppies. Just bring the puppies over here and show them.
I will.
Okay, she's fostering 2 puppies for 2 weeks because, as she said in her text, she likes pain. And so she has 2 other dogs that are getting adjusted to the puppies. So
here's the reason for the distraction.
Yeah. Aren't they cute?
The big dog was getting a little annoyed, and I didn't want them to get rolled.
Anyway, moving on with our 1-hour prep session, which will be done in way less than an hour, even with puppies around. And you probably have little kids around, maybe. Yeah. So that's okay. You get it. All right, so we got our barbecue sauce in there, but you can make our homemade barbecue sauce. It's on thrivinghome.org. It's delicious.
Easy. Yep.
So easy. All right, so I put that in there. We're going to zhuzh it, squish it around, and we're almost to our final step. All right, do that and join us for the final step.
We're on step 8, your final step. I told you it was an easy one. So all you're going to do is, like the other meals, you're going to make your kit. There's our trusty grocery bag. You're going to put the chicken in the bottom. Now, if you are going to cook this straight from frozen the Instant Pot, it's really important that you freeze it flat. Or if you can also freeze it in a bowl, like either the metal bowl of the Instant Pot, something to give it a round shape so you can just plop it in there from frozen.
So you would freeze it in the bowl in your freezer, and then once it's frozen solid, take the bowl back out so you can use it, right? Yep. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the bottom along with our slider buns. Yep. And if you want, like, I have extra barbecue sauce in here, and I'm not sure when I'm actually gonna make this meal. So you can dump it in a bag and like throw that in your kit too, and you can freeze barbecue sauce and have that ready to go. When you're ready to cook these in the Instant Pot, I'll have you add some liquid to the Instant Pot, so don't worry about that, because barbecue sauce is a little too thick of a liquid.
Yeah, you'll get
to count.
Get the burn signal.
You will. All right. Meet you back here.
Congratulations, you just made 6 meal kits.
And actually like way less than 1 hour.
Yeah.
With puppies.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited that you guys joined us. I hope you'll make another prep session with us soon.
Yep.
Enjoy your meals.